The opinions expressed on this program are those of the program host and guest and are not necessarily those of this station, management, staff, and sponsors. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. It's time now for the Crown Car Care Show. Call in with questions and comments, 220-9788, 220-WSTU. Now, here's your host.
Oh, hi. Today's December 6th.
Yes,
It's
it is. And tomorrow is December 7th.
Yep. I wanted to welcome everybody that
Yes.
maybe a first-time listener here on this radio station.
Could be.
Yep. And every Wednesday I do a talk show like I'm doing, and I talk about cars and my business and my family, my wife Cameron and I and my two children. We own Crown Car Care, and we've been around here in Martin County for, I don't know, 16 or 17 years. We've been in business. I think it's actually 18. Wow. And every week we just talk about cars and talk about my business. But if you're a first-time listener, I have two locations. I have one on Cove Road here in Stewart, and I have one in Palm City, 4175 Southwest Martin Highway. It's kind of a newer location. It's bigger. We used to be just right up the street. We've been at this location for 2 years, and it's a big place, big parking lot, and have a lot of friendly faces, just like over at my Cove Road store, which is more towards the eastern end of Cove Road, almost towards the inlet of the water. Either one of your stores, the stores, you can come by and visit us. We'd love to have you as a customer. And if you're looking for a place to take that's safe and you feel comfortable and you can talk to the people in the front office and they'll talk to you about your car. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. It could be a 15-year-old car. It could be a brand new car. Either way, we'll help you out. We'll talk about maintenance. We can talk about repairs. If you have an oil leak, the dreaded oil leak no one ever wants to deal with or fix, we can fix it. If you have an AC problem, if your AC's blowing cold and you just want to maintain it, we can do that as well. We can sell you tires. We can put tires on them. We can do an alignment. We can fix engine issues. We can fix differential issues. We can fix transfer case issues. We can fix electrical issues. We can fix wiper issues. We can fix lighting issues, battery issues, hub issues, bearing issues. There's about anything related to a car. We can give you good insight and good repairs, or if we can't do it, we'll refer you to someone that can, that we know and trust. If that is something that you like to hear or you like what I'm saying, please be one of our customers. You will enjoy it. Sometimes people come into our shops just to hang out and talk with us.
Yeah.
They do.
I
They really do.
believe that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good place. It's easy to get to. In fact, at my Cove Road store, I've actually got a beautiful cichlid fish tank that's been there for a few years, and it's just beautiful. People come in to look at the pretty fish. It looks like salt water, but it's actually fresh water. They're from Africa, these darn things, and they grow real big, and they're different colors like purples and yellows, and I've got a ton of them in this big tank. Kids come just to look at them. There's a Coke machine in there, a candy machine. I got free water, a bathroom. The place is clean. It's air conditioned. There's a picnic table out front on the Cove Road store, and actually one in Palm City if you want to sit out in the sun or sit outside in this good weather now.
Yeah.
It's landscaped. My trees are trimmed. I keep the place clean. My shop's clean. I got the best equipment. Everyone that works for me is friendly. There's not a reason in the world, if you're looking for a place to go to get your car serviced, you wouldn't want to come to us, because we just, everything we do, we care about, and everything that we perform, we do it with purpose. And doing something with purpose is a lot different than what a lot of people do in the world haphazardly. We don't do it. We diagnose. We have the best equipment. In fact, the alignment machines I have for doing your front end alignments can handle anything from a 2022 $300,000 Mercedes to a 1968 Chevrolet Bel Air. Either one, we can do a proper alignment for you, front and rear. We can balance your tires with road force, which means it takes into consideration the weight of the vehicle on the tires when you balance them. So it gives an ultra smooth ride. We've got that equipment, $60,000 a piece. Both of them cost each. I'm at both shops. Wow. I'm not hesitating at all to spend on equipment. We can reprogram modules and computers. We can update them. If you have a Chrysler, a Dodge, a Mercedes, a Land Rover, Isuzus, we do medium-duty trucks. And when I say we do medium-duty trucks, we have all kinds of landscape companies that bring their vehicles into us because they trust us and we can fix them. Nobody wants to work on those big, heavy trucks, but we do. and we do it with a smile, and we diagnose it properly, and you drop it off. We'll treat you just like we do everyone else, perfectly. No one gets preference at my businesses. We all treat everyone the same. And that's how you'll be treated. Call us up on the phone if you want to meet us. If you want to talk to me, it might be difficult. Usually I'm under the hood fixing cars and doing other kinds of stuff. But if you really want to talk to me, we can make an arrangement.
Yeah.
We can make an arrangement. Frank, and you call Frank at the radio station if you got to get a hold of me. I'll tell you what, he finds me.
That's true.
He knows where I'm at.
I
In
know.
fact, him and I were just road testing a car. In fact, this show today, we're going to talk about the Mach-E.
Yes, Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I believe every week we get quite a few new listeners, and a lot of times they don't really know what we're all about.
Yeah,
So I just took the
good
time
point.
now to tell you. Come visit us. 772-781-8000 is my phone number at Cove Road, or Palm City. Now, doggone it, I can never remember my Cove Road number. And it's not because I'm stupid, not because I don't want to remember. It's because I just sometimes forget. It's something, I just can't remember the number. We'll have to look it up there.
Yeah.
But the 781-8000 is easy because it's like this. It rolls off your tongue.
Yes.
I can remember my number when I was a little kid, 367-0372, but I don't know my daughter's cell phone number. Isn't that funny? I bet a lot of you have those same kind of issues I do.
Yeah.
I'm not even that old. I'm 59 years old, but it's just, I don't know. Somehow we have a hard time remembering numbers because they seem to be remembered for us with our things that we use. Devices
right,
we use,
right,
remember them. So therefore
right.
we don't remember them.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you what, if you bring a car in and test me to see if I know about your vehicle and maybe the problem it has, I guarantee you I'll know something. I continually read and continually update my knowledge based on what I know. I instill it in the people that work for me, and people like what they get when we service their vehicles, whether it's from a broken standpoint or a maintenance standpoint or an advice standpoint. In fact, I've almost done working on a 1965 Jaguar XKE E-Type. It's a beautiful car. Frank, you just saw a picture of it.
Yes.
Stunning.
I like the color. The color's great.
Now, see, this is a complicated car. It's got 3 carburetors, or SU. It was invented in 1905, I believe the patent was made from an English guy. The bowl for the carburetor is separate from the Venturis.
Isn't that amazing?
It's the way it works. Of course, I had to take them apart and fix them.
Of course.
Have I ever done it before? Absolutely not. Are they done correctly? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't worked on something doesn't mean I'm not going to do a great job for you.
When you have the mechanical acumen to understand
Do anything.
Right. When you understand what you're looking at and what its function is, it's not that hard to reverse engineer in your brain how it's supposed to perform.
Correct.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things we had to do on this car. Everyone that worked for me had a difficult time finding the electrical shorts that were in it. Of course, I found it and fixed it.
Yeah.
We work together as a team, and that's a big difference. In a lot of businesses, it's not a team. If you go to a lot of repair shops or dealerships, it's not a team. They don't work together. Well, my guys and girls do. So you get the compounding effect of the super brain. My smartness and 2 other people's smartness is 3 people's smartness. Let's say it all sums up to 300. But if I take that 300 individually, the sums of 100 each, if we all combine it, it's about a 500 IQ person or brain that's looking at the situation. It's the super brain effect. So if you work together, you're actually smarter than the sum of the whole individuals. And that's the way my organization works. In terms of equipment, I got everything. I got more test equipment and more scanners. I got all the factory scanners for most vehicles, in fact. Up-to-date current. Why? You have to. You're going to be in this world of automobile repair and maintenance. You have to have this stuff. Where you're going doesn't have it. You have to have it.
Yeah.
I can't operate without it because everything today is complicated. Everything today has got computers and networks. And let me tell you, I'm talking here simple on the phone, but we understand networking on these cars, the multiple modules, how to program them. I understand it all as well as my employees do, and some are better than others, but that's the combination of everyone working together.
Mm.
Some people have specialties in front end, and some people have specialties in this and that. Yeah.
Everybody has a passion for a certain
But I got a passion for everything.
Yes.
That's why I've got about every tool known to man.
Yes.
And I don't say that lightly. I really do.
Oh, I know.
I really
You
do.
are deep in tools. You are Tim Allen extraordinaire,
Yep.
the tool man. Yeah. So your
Give me some news on
Cove,
Tesla.
Okay, your Cove Road store, the phone number.
The phone number.
You can also text to the phone number as well, which is kind of nice. So
Yes.
if you're in a situation where you can't call and speak verbally, but you want to leave a message to make an arrangement to call, you can text or call to 772-283-4707.
Yeah.
And one of the teammates will get back with you.
It's a hard number to remember.
Yeah, 4707.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
In fact, next week I'll have it remembered, I think. I think.
Yeah. So you want to know what's going on with Tesla, right?
Yeah, because we were talking before the show.
Oh yeah.
There was something about
there's some stuff going. I mean, there's a world of things going on with Tesla, but right now the stock market is all Twitter, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
About the stock price, and they're calling for the price to be lowered even more. They've even using AI algorithms to try to understand what the where the stock price is going to fall. Right now, it's in the low 200s.
What are you deciphering? What are you seeing in this situation, Frank?
So recently, Tesla has lowered the price of their cars, and that's the reason why the ding on the value of the stock. And that's what the people that look at that Wall Street are looking at, because it's taken the profitability out of the car. So they
does he have a trick up his sleeve that no one knows about?
This is me. This is nothing I've read or
this is you.
Just me.
You're always right, Frank.
Well, no.
At least you've been right every time you're on the radio.
Well, so
you're always right, Frank.
Tell my wife. So, so here we go. When Tesla lowers the price, because he does manufacturing differently. Elon Musk, they do manufacturing a little differently at Tesla than the other major auto manufacturers, in that they try to do as much single stream production as they can to keep all the work in-house. And so that lowers the cost of their product and dramatically. And so they can manage their prices. So I would postulate that quite possibly when the prices were elevated is because there were fewer entry vehicles from the competitor.
And he was just able to have a higher price.
Correct.
And that was probably, the margins were probably higher than what the industry standards were.
Probably, yes.
And he's just lowering them down, possibly down to the normal standards. And they're thinking it's a bad thing, or it's going to lower the value of the stock, and it might actually be quite competitive and quite good.
Right. And so what I'm thinking is the other manufacturers, which are actually losing money selling even at the match price. So when he lowers the cost of his product, it suddenly becomes a real dilemma.
Well, I remember seeing it. I don't know. I was in grade school. I heard this. It was like not a fairy tale, but it was a fox. Okay. Grapes were hanging up from a tree. And the birds were up in the tree eating the grapes, and they were saying how good they were. And the fox kept trying to jump up and grab the grapes, and he says, those grapes are sour anyway. But they weren't sour. He just couldn't get them.
Right.
I think that's what they call sour grapes.
It could be.
I think it's true. That's really where it came from.
The expression
the fox can't jump up and grab the grapes, so they're sour.
Yeah.
So if you can't have something, so if you can't lower your price to be competitive with Elon Musk, then he's doing something wrong. It's no good.
Right.
But that's not true. It's just the facts aren't the facts.
So I think Wall Street's coming at it from a different perspective, and I think what he's doing is just owning more market share and a better. And having a better grasp.
Look what he did. Let's take, for example, let's look at this charging station thing. From day one, I read a lot of people didn't understand why he did, because he did it at his cost. Mm-hmm. And for the first few years of buying a Tesla, that charging the car was free.
Yes.
You knew that. It came with the price of the car.
Yes.
But that probably was a strategy too. Right. Now he's got the largest infrastructure of charging stations throughout the entire I'd say probably the entire world at this point, but
Right.
at least let's talk the United States because we know that's factual.
Right.
Okay. You now can get into a vehicle, a Tesla, and drive country to end,
Right.
see the shining sea,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a spot that you charge your Tesla and you're not going to run out.
Right.
And you can do it. No one else has that.
No.
And people, it wasn't, he was looked upon maybe as a little loony or almost eccentric
Yes.
when he's done some of these moves.
Mm-hmm.
But now look who he's selling his services to.
Yeah.
He's selling it to GM, and Ford just signed a huge contract to be able to let their electric car owners
Right.
use Tesla's
Charge stations.
That's
Yeah.
weird to me. That's just weird.
Well, he bought.
I mean, it's smart for Tesla,
Right.
but it's got to be embarrassing for Ford and GM and anyone
Right.
else.
Yeah, he's
Hey, you go ahead and use this. It's Tesla's. Go ahead, you use that. They said we could. Now, wait a minute. Am I a Me Too product? Am I no good? How come you guys don't have a network like that? You're bigger. You've been in business since 1900s.
Right.
How come? Why? I want answers.
It's the Standard Oil model.
Yeah, but it's embarrassing if you ask me.
Yes.
Yeah, go. It's just like imagine Ford doesn't. Let's just say take parts for example. Ford doesn't sell. They don't make spark plugs for their F-150. But GM, the Chevy dealer down the street, they got them at the parts counter. Go buy them from them. The whole thing doesn't make sense, Frank.
No.
It doesn't add up. Right? I'm
That's
looking at it
true.
from that perspective.
Yeah. So this is an article I just pulled up. This is from Electric Tech.
Yep.
And one piece of the Tesla Cybertruck launch, which just recently took place, we didn't see coming, nor did Tesla event planners or the CEO apparently, was the range extender, which we are now learning more about now. But we already know answers to some questions like how the Cybertruck owners expect to tow or travel long distances, especially in the cold, without charging as often. So they have a 130-mile add-on battery, which also presents some opportunities that harken back to when
this Tesla's offering this? Oh, this is because remember we've talked about the cold weather, how it kills the battery. Oh, this is interesting.
Yes, that harken back to when Tesla demonstrated battery swap stations, because Tesla was toying with that notion. And so the situation, the Cybertruck even presents opportunities for other energy sources. Get this, from solar to hydrogen to even petroleum generators.
So the platform can possibly is being built to take other type of power plants. Is that what you're indicating?
You can have a generating
on this Tesla truck. This Tesla truck platform is almost like an open platform. Am I right that
Yeah.
potentially it could open the doors? How many tricks has that man got up his sleeve, and how many sleeves has he got? He's been pulling tricks since we've been doing radio shows, Frank. Every time that we think we've come up with something, he always does something that pulls it off at a bigger win than he did to start with.
Well,
am I right or not?
Yes.
He always has something going that he tricks everybody.
Yes. So the and the solar is as an add-on you can buy.
You could buy panels to put on the roof to maybe continually charge. You could actually charge while you're driving, actually, for that matter.
Tesla says you can get at least another 15 miles of range per day.
That's a fair amount if you think that might be all you drive to work.
And the thing, exactly right. And
I know if I never had to go anywhere, well, I'm 11 miles from my work.
But it's
so
passive
it'd be 22
charging,
minutes. It's passive. It's free.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the cost of the solar cells, but the sun doesn't cost you a darn thing. God's the one that creates that sunshine.
Right. There you go.
No, that's interesting.
Well, and I've got something with.
We got a caller.
I got it. Okay.
Let's get. It could be Santa. Who knows? It could be anybody. Could be an elf.
All right. Go ahead, caller.
Department calling about you.
Okay. Well, that was just one of those.
It was a robocall.
Robocalls. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
So we can do this other.
Sure.
I really want.
No. I was listening to this. Rudolph, with your nose so bright, will you guide my sleigh tonight?
Yes.
And then I forgot. I knew it. I was tipping my tongue what Rudolph said. Yes, sir. I'm here to serve you. He said it in the voice. Of course he would. Little tiny reindeer, just getting old. His nose is blazing red. He's the one that led the sled through the snow and the blizzards. And that's what makes Christmas stories. And it makes kids think about that stuff. They land on the roof. We're in that season now, Frank. It's a beautiful world.
Yes.
It's a good world we live in.
You're on the air.
Well, this is not a robocall.
Well, very good. How you doing?
Good.
Robo
good.
Charlie. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Robo Charlie.
I
So
like it.
What do you think about the entire roof
The entire roof
as being a solar
collector.
collector?
Oh yeah,
Maybe
yes.
even the hood.
Yeah.
In other words, any metal
any
part
surface.
that
Yeah.
they-
I would postulate that one day they will have a paint technology such so that the entire vehicle becomes a
giant
yeah,
producer
like
of
a wrap,
Yeah.
like a wrap.
yeah, well, it
Yeah.
could be or in the paint itself, but I would postulate that that's a technical possibility.
I would agree.
No, and kids, think about it. Postulate.
Yes.
Let's look.
Oof.
Use that.
That's
in
a big word.
sentence.
That
Okay.
All right.
How
well,
you doing?
I just thought because Robo, isn't that horrible?
Oh, yeah, we get
You don't
that.
need
Yeah,
that.
I get it on my phone.
Hey,
all the
Charlie, let
time.
me ask you a question. What's it when you're flying in an airplane? When you're up, what's it like when the doors are open? Does the wind blow in?
Is that a little noisy?
No, it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't blow in because you're moving fast. But
Like when you were doing a parachute jump, was the door always open, or did you open it when you got ready to jump?
No. When we stepped out of the C-141, which is a jet, they had a windscreen come up that looked like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And they slowed the jet down to 200 miles an hour.
Yep.
And you were told not to jump, just step out of it. Step out of the door.
No jumping.
Now, when you jumped out, did you have a weapon on you?
You did if you yeah. I mean, I did a training jump like that.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And matter of fact, I was a trained waterman, so I went down with the barrel of a 81 millimeter mortar.
Let me
And
ask
I
you.
went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
For the first month in the Iron Triangle, we were carrying around a mortar, and then company commander said, "This is ridiculous. Here's an M16. Now welcome."
Nice.
And he went up the way.
You've been you're on the pulse of the military, at least somewhat, I would think, even with today's current military. Would you say the boys are as tough, or are they? Are they wussy compared to what you boys were back in Vietnam?
In a certain respect, I mean, I'm sure if you're a SEAL, I mean, I'm sure if you're, in the airborne outfit.
I'm not talking. I'm just talking the enlisted, the regular military.
This woke stuff is ridiculous.
Well, I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Yeah, when I was my therapy dog is playing with his woman out here, but I can remember we had a recruit come in, and he had an attitude. And my squad leader was Sergeant McManus, a buff sergeant, a black man. And this guy from Detroit showed up, and he was black, and he had an attitude and all. So Sergeant McManus pulled him aside in front of us and said, "Listen, you see these guys here? They can either save you or not. We're all brothers here. We're all green."
There it
and
is.
he still did that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah, you all bleed red, brother.
There it is.
But
How many dogs, Charlie? How many dogs you got?
Are going crazy.
One
He's
busy one. I
groveling,
think
trying
he's
to
got
ask for favors
Yes.
from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a dirty dog, but he's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
great.
I gotta let you go.
All right.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks,
See ya.
Charlie.
All right.
Thanks for
Good
the call.
talking with you.
All
Good
right.
hearing your voice.
All right.
Take care,
Yeah,
buddy.
Bye.
All right, bye.
What a great individual that serves his country well
Yes.
with pride.
Yes.
And he loves his country.
You bet.
And he does. He lives right here in Palm City.
All
Good
right.
man. Good customer of ours.
Yes.
Love him to death.
We're
Yep.
gonna
Let's take a
step
break.
out.
Yep.
And when we come back, I'm gonna play a little sound from Elon Musk and Sandy Monroe.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right. So stick with us. right, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. You're listening to the Crown Car Care Power Hour. So I'm going to play a little sound right now from Elon Musk and a interview he did just the other day with Sandy Monroe after they did the Cybertruck introduction.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Let's hear it.
all right. Okay, go.
Here it comes.
48 volts. I mean,
It's
how
been a
hard-
long time
how-
that it's been at 12 volts, far too long.
yeah, 60 years.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. How difficult was it to move from 12 to 48? Because I know when the S came out,
Yeah.
or the Plaid came out, I wasn't happy. I thought you were going to do it on that. I was looking for that big giant weight reduction and cutting all the wire and whatnot. But this one, you've got it in. So how difficult was it to get that to happen?
Well, it's very difficult to change the bus voltage from 12 to 48 because all of the peripheral items, everything that connects to
Yeah.
it has to interface to 48 volts, or you've got to step down to 12 volts.
Yeah.
So, there are hundreds of things that interface to the low voltage bus, and that's everything from the electronics in the car, the window,
Yeah.
the window motor, the airbags, the
Pretty much.
the thing, the seat adjustment mode, everything
everything.
is set. The headlamps, everything's set to 12 volts. So the entire supply chain, the entire design infrastructure is set for 12 volts. This is why it's been stuck at this absurdly low number for a long time. And I think, it's people that know a little bit about
All right.
electrical engineering.
So, All right.
You
So
don't need to know a lot, but just a little bit.
yeah,
to
that's
understand that.
that.
Very interesting. That
yeah.
you
I mean, he goes on quite a bit because
very
it's,
technical.
it's very technical, and I don't want to bore our listeners.
yeah,
with,
yeah, yeah.
But this is a major technological leap.
Oh, sure it is.
I mean, this
here's what I
is
can tell you:
huge.
many of the military systems use a 24 volt system.
Okay,
So
I
tw-
didn't know this.
Yeah, so
it makes sense.
But now he's going 48, which is huge.
Yeah, he took
What
another.
48
leap.
volts does is if voltage drops or what happens when there's a resistance in the system or the circuitry, and it causes, if you ever seen a car driving down the road and one headlight's dimmer than the other one, you could have a voltage drop, which some people would call it a bad ground if it was on the ground side,
Mhm.
or if it was on the positive side, you wouldn't know what to call it because most people don't even know what a voltage drop is. I'd argue that most repair shops don't even know what a voltage drop is or how they even do a test for it. It's very simple. Do I understand how to do it? Of course I do. You could wake me up at the middle of my sleep and we could get a multimeter and I could do a voltage drop test and explain it to you perfectly because that's how much I care about vehicles and want to know and how to fix them. If you know the processes, if you know how things work. Service manuals are important and so are wiring diagrams, but they're secondary. You're gonna fix stuff. If you get my repair shops, for the most part, many times I'm involved in a lot of these difficult problems. And you're talking about this is springing off of this 48 volt system. It's understanding how something works.
And
As
why it
simple
works.
as
Right.
just as simple a statement as this can define the business,
Right.
can define the quality of the work that you do at your business.
Right.
I've got cars sometimes I'll have for 2 or 3 months, but we fix them. They're a bitch. It's hard to do. And if I don't struggle at repairing cars, I sometimes have to go through processes. I have to become inspired. I have to do deep research. But that's the kind of stuff we do if you become one of my customers. We care that much. And Mr. Musk talking about this is a breakthrough. 48 volts is a game changer, is all I can tell you.
Yeah.
And it will piss off all the other manufacturers.
So my guess is, and he went on to explain the reason why he didn't do it with the Model S and his other models earlier is because he was trying to develop the brand, and he didn't want to. He already had a lot of expense. He needed to make Tesla work as a company.
Yeah, but if you're doing 48 volts, there's a whole process in that.
Yes.
Let alone a process in starting a new company.
Right.
You don't do the 48 volts till after you exist.
Exactly. And,
And watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. That's what he does about every other month. And then when these people are they just can't handle it. Every time he pulls a rabbit, it's another one.
Exactly. So he said, look at, he said, okay, Tesla's making money. Now I can have fun to do the things I want to do, in creatively, as far as from an engineering perspective.
If you want my opinion, I think he strung this Tesla Cybertruck along for a reason.
Well,
I think it's by design, some of this stretching out of not releasing it yet. He's got the whole world on edge. And now it's coming out and they don't know what to do.
Well,
that's what I think. I don't think it was, I think some of it was possibly capacity and the stamping of the unibody or unicoque steel in the big press, but I believe some of it was by design. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
he's just got everybody on. They don't know what to do. He's already looking at the next curve.
Yeah.
And they're looking at the last stop sign he went through. Honestly, I think they're looking in the rearview mirror, the competition, and he's looking at the windshield. There's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a difference.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so it's pretty wild. And I thought of you immediately when I saw this article. I go, this is something that would speak to Todd's heart. You understand this right away.
Now, let me ask you a question, Frank.
Yeah.
What do you think about an electric car that made this sound like a V8? Kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
Have you driven that before?
We have.
You have.
We did that today.
Well, tell the audience is on edge. They want to know, what'd you do today, Frank?
We drove a Ford Mustang Mach-E.
Ooh.
And it had you've got a photograph of the worksheet on
the Monroney, they call
it.
I don't know what Monroney means. I'll have to look that up for next show, but it's the list price, the sticker.
Yes. Sticker price, and then it had all the doodads that come with the vehicle.
I'll tell you right now.
And but it was very nice. It was black. And
it had the extended range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It had the performance package, which was $5,000. The range with the extended range, I believe you said, was 260 to 270 miles, which is on the low side, but not bad. Well, it is on the low side
for extended range. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what should be what regular range is.
Yeah, I would.
But I think that's one of the. Before we talk about our road test and what we did, I will have to say that the Mach-E is a good vehicle. I think I don't know if they sold that many of them, but I will tell you it falls in the range of below average when it comes to other products with like range and things of that nature. When you're comparing it apples to apples, like if you're a person that is in the market for an electric car, Mach-E probably, unless there was a good price incentive or you're loyal to the Ford brand, I don't know if that would come up as the choice.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that's the choice. Okay, so let me give you the price of this thing. Okay, it lists out at $66,795. And there was some added stuff, some protections and some wheel locks and stuff. So it was $68,992.
Out the door.
Now I believe that. Well, no, that was before tax.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but I believe that you could buy a Tesla for that price. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to probably buy the Tesla. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I know what I know.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't mean that this isn't a bad car.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's not. I'm not saying it's junk.
Right. It's got good engineering.
I'm just saying that it is, if you're spending $70,000 on a vehicle or whatever, even if it went down to 60, I believe you can buy a Model 3 for that price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is the better choice.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands down. Hands down.
Yeah.
But if you're a brand loyalist,
right,
and you want to stick with, Detroit, and
right,
listen, I get it.
Sure.
I drive a Shelby.
Yeah,
I love Fords. I have a Ford truck.
Yeah.
But if I was looking to delve into well, let's talk about this car first before I even give it. Before I'm telling you to don't buy it,
right?
Which I believe it's a good car and it's well worth buying. In fact, if there's an incentive, if they had the prices right, that would be my choice.
You get a $7,500 on your income tax.
Yep.
From
and I will tell you some of the advantages. It's local here. You can get service locally. So there's a big plus to that.
Right.
And there's no Tesla service center around here. So if you're living here local and you're elderly and you're retired, this would be the choice.
Yeah.
Because you've got someone that can fix it.
Right.
Right. At the warranty level.
Right.
Otherwise, you're dealing with the Tesla semi-sketchy road service, no service center situation, which is the better of the most business models for these electric cars. But I'm going to tell you, it's far from perfect.
Yep, it's got a nice binnacle, and the screen in the middle of the dash is nice.
You drove it.
Yes.
And you put me in the back seat once, because normally it was the first time I didn't put you in the back seat.
Yeah.
And that thing snarled.
Ooh.
Was it fast?
It
was taut. It was tight, right? That's how I felt.
Yes.
The seats were roomy as heck, and it smelled like leather inside, like a new car.
Yes. So the appointments inside were very nice. The screen was easy to read, easy to adjust for all your different features that you were interested in. You could add a sound if you would like to hear the growling sound of a V8 engine.
And we did hear the growl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were coming up there on Indian Street, and you got on it.
Yeah.
And at first we thought it was you, but it was a Raptor next to us getting on it, which is another Ford product. He was really getting on it. He was almost breaking. I believe he was breaking the law.
I think so.
I believe he was accelerating at an uncontrolled rate.
Yes.
And it was dangerous.
Unsafe.
If you want me, I would have given him a ticket if I was a policeman.
That's right.
But you weren't.
No.
Frank never does wrong when he drives. Heck no, nor do I. We're just we get a pass because we're doing experimentation, and not only that, but we're doing product reviews for our listening audience, and we're allowed to do whatever we want on the road within reason.
Yes, we do it for you, listeners. Absolutely.
Yeah. But the car is fabulous car. The quality was there. I could tell by just knowing what I know about the vehicle. The salesperson was over the top informative. If you're looking for a product that you have good back end service, you have good presentation and good knowledge base on the terms of the buying experience, and if you're looking for a car that if you're a local person that wants to deal with local, that's your car.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And there's different criteria that come into play. If you live in Miles Grant, which is down at the end of Cove Road, and you're looking to get into an electric car and you're retired, this is a perfect car for you. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd recommend the Tesla because it might involve some dancing and just some things that you might not be comfortable with doing. Many people that are, elderly, if you're above 60 years old, you might not be comfortable, buying online or, not having a dealership to buy from or not really having someone to call that's local.
Right.
If you're not comfortable with that, then it doesn't fit into your scheme and it doesn't work.
Exactly right.
But it's a fabulous car. There's no hidden breakages or there's no lemons or defects that I know of that have hiccuped and caused the news media to be in a frenzy that it was a piece of crap. I haven't heard that. I heard it's a decent car.
How did it feel in the back seat?
Oh, I was in the front. With you.
Yeah.
But the car felt great.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous on your driving when you were accelerating. It felt a little unbridled.
Yeah, unbridled.
Well, we were on the unbridled, weren't we?
We were on that setting, unbridled setting.
But I was impressed with the whole experience.
Yeah.
Compared to our last experience there.
Yes. It was.
But you always have to give a second. I mean, you cannot judge a business or anything on one experience.
Yeah.
You can't.
No.
Someone could be having a bad day.
We gave them a second chance.
And they scored big.
Yes.
What did we see at the end, Frank? What kind of car? It was worth at least $1 million too.
GT.
A Ford GT. It was burgundy.
It was just gorgeous.
And it was in its own special garage.
Yes.
And I touched the darn thing.
We went into an area that says "Do not enter,"
and we were allowed in because we had privileges.
Wow.
Because we were they call the media or the press.
Yes.
I had a hat on that said "Scoop."
Yes, Scoop.
Isn't that the old? Didn't they used to?
Yes.
Yeah, Scoop.
What's the scoop? Give me the scoop.
Yeah, Scoop.
All right, we'll be right back. This is our last time out. Stick with us.
That was a quick break, and then
We're
we're
back.
back in action here.
Yes.
You know, we were going to talk. We don't have time. We'll do it next week because
We got
it's a
10
good
minutes.
discussion. Well, okay,
Yeah.
we'll start on it. I was going to go over. Okay, you have a 2021 Ford Explorer with a V6 motor, 3.0. Right?
All right.
Okay. Let's just use that as an example. At 18,000 miles, what do you need to do the car from a maintenance standpoint?
18,000 miles.
Yeah.
Probably check the transmission.
Well, I'm just going to go through like the things that you would pay for, things that are billable type items that
Okay.
you would know to be prepared for. I'm just,
Okay.
you'll see as we go through the mileage. I got 3 examples
Okay, well-
with different mileages. At 18,000 miles, you have to obviously do
Check the
different
tires.
oil change and air
Mhm.
filter.
Mhm.
Okay, rotate the tires, check the tires. You're right, Frank. You want to check the brakes, cabin air filter. You'd
Mhm.
pay for.
Mhm.
Okay, wiper blades you'll pay for. And then you want to have your AC at least looked at and serviced or deodorized to get rid of the crud that builds up on the evaporator cord. But that's what erodes them and causes them to leak. And there's a service that we can do for that. So just some minor services that are well worth doing. And trust me, if you do the services like I recommend, or my business recommends, or industry standards recommend, a lot of times it goes against some of the manufacturers because I'd rather maintenance my car early and better than and prevent problems than extending these things out till the infinite level, so where problems can surface.
Right.
Okay, so at 18,000 miles, some basically an oil change, cabin, air filter, rotate, and do it all in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And don't know the price. I mean, it's more than 50, less than 200. It's going to be in that price range.
Okay.
Just a guess.
Yeah.
Things have gotten different with inflation and things. It's hard for me to tell you exactly what a price is because who the heck knows? But quarts of oil can be anywhere from $5 to $8 a quart or to $12 a quart, depending on what it is.
Right.
And it's, truthfully, it's just things are so varied out there in pricing. It's just hard to nail it. But I can say it's more than 50, less than 200. At 45 to 55,000 miles, what would you do on a 2021 Ford Explorer from a maintenance standpoint to stay in good records with Todd and Crown Car Care? And you'd be a proud, shining example. And I could bring you on my radio show and say, you take care of your car at the finest, highest level. Right? You do an oil change, of course. Air filter would be due again. Cabin air filter.
Right.
About time for tires. You have to buy new tires for the vehicle. Okay, we can guide you on those. Like we sell tires. I didn't bring that up in the last when we were talking about everything we did. Yeah. We do tires, and I sell every type of tire, and I have some of the most competitive prices. They're not the cheapest. You've heard me say this before. If you're looking for the cheapest, I'm not your guy. You find somebody else. I don't think the cheapest guy in town's got a radio show, though. He probably doesn't.
Yeah,
because he's probably barely paying his bills. Because you can't. Cheap doesn't work in my business.
No.
It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work in any business.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No.
You're shortcutting something,
right.
And someone's doing something's being shortcut.
Something you're not going to be able to give the customer.
Yeah, if you're below the average price, there's something going on, and you need to question it. Right. They're not paying their taxes. They're giving you cheap oil. They're doing something because it just doesn't work otherwise.
Right.
Tires, okay, alignment. You want to check your alignment and/or do an alignment. A fuel service, and Frank, we've done that to your vehicles. A 2-part fuel service is an upper induction and throttle body clean, as well as an additive in your tank to clean the injectors. 2-part fuel service would be something you do at 45 to 55,000, and a brake fluid exchange. Brake fluid, you get rid of that brake fluid. It's important. That's what causes sticky calipers. It causes brake performance issues. If you want your brakes to be up to snuff, change that fluid. It's that important, gentlemen and ladies. It's that important.
Sure, that's part of the hydraulics. What makes the brakes
work. Absorbs oil.
Yeah,
I mean water. It sucks up water. You need to exchange. You need to change that brake fluid. In fact, Mercedes and BMW says do it, I think, every 15,000 miles.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a little excessive, but just to
maybe
get the point. Just to get the point. Just get the point.
Yeah.
You need to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we are. 55,000, not a lot. I mean, you're probably looking at the tires. You're probably looking at it's probably going to cost you $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, but it's well worth spent that money.
Yes,
it's well worth it. Okay. Now let's go 95 to 100,000 miles on that same vehicle, 2021 Ford Explorer. What would you do? An oil change, of course, just like we did before. In the cabin air filter, we got a couple minutes. A transmission service is what we want to do. Exchange. We can get the old fluid out and put some fresh fluid in there. It's time. All right. Spark plugs. Okay, spark plug. You change the spark plugs and the air filter, just like we did on the other 2 services. Now we'd want to do a 3-part fuel service, which is one step more. That's where we add actually pressurized cleaners to the fuel injectors themselves, which I did with you, Frank.
Right.
Okay, so that's an added part to the 2-part. You want to do that at 100,000 or 95 to 100. A differential service. That Explorer's got rear-wheel drive. There's gear oil in that differential, and you need to change it. It's
Right.
all gross and nasty.
Yucky poo.
It gets yucky. It's stinky. It gets acidic. It eats up bearings. It causes
Right.
seal leaks. It's just you need to do it.
Right.
Okay. And the power steering, if it has power steering fluid, you'd want to get rid of that and put fresh fluid. And a lot of these cars, that one happens to have electric steering, so you wouldn't do it. But power steering fluid would be something else you'd do. So that's just an example. You had 18,000 miles, 50,000, and then 100,000. What kind of services you need to do to maintain your car? It's not that excessive.
No.
The difference between taking care of your car and abusing it, it's not. We're not talking a lot of money, but boy, it sure save you some money in the long run.
People that don't do, last week we played that little sound from Elon Musk talking about cars that last about 20 years or so. And
yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Right. And he says and you had mentioned that some cars have to get crushed, be put under sooner than their expected life because likely they don't
maintain it.
Right.
You have to maintain these vehicles.
So
just like your body, you have to maintain your body. You just can't eat candy all day long, can you?
Well,
tastes good, but
you can
tastes good, but it doesn't work. You eat licorice and popcorn all day long, except I'd be in a radio station here, and I don't know, I'd bounce off the walls. But they are padded in here for a reason. Right?
It could
you know,
be.
Frank, where's the Christmas decorations? I'm so there's no Christmas decorations
coming up.
Come on,
coming up.
You got to have Christmas decorations.
So, let's talk about next week.
Yeah.
Greg Kelly is our anticipated guest.
You have the floor. You keep telling us all about it.
Okay. So we have through our friend.
This is a big deal, people.
Yes. Through our friend John Campion over at European Kitchen and Bath. He has a personal friendship with Greg Kelly, who was the attorney for Nissan. Actually, mostly he worked for the CEO.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
he was involved in the caper.
Yes,
but he wasn't directly involved in it. But I mean, he was
involved.
He probably knows the story, and he was there to serve his client.
Right. He knows the backstory, but he ended up having to go. He was put in jail unceremoniously because he was a lawyer for Nissan, and not for any other reason. He didn't do anything wrong, but they were looking for him to flip on his boss, which he had no reason to do that because he had nothing he'd done wrong.
And this is what I want to ask him.
Right.
There appeared to me, at least there was no crimes done.
No.
And if there were misdeeds done, it was not a crime. It may have been, you spent too much money in this, whatever, but that's not warranted for what happened.
Right.
I want to ask him, what was the reason?
Yeah.
In his take, it doesn't have to be what was published or just why.
Yeah.
Why were they so after him? Because I heard it had to do with jealousy, and there was a deeper seated reason that had to do with the culture of the country and the fact that he was good looking and the women all loved him. And seriously, I've read that. I've read that there was bias going on because they were just flat out jealous.
Yep.
And it should be interesting to hear from Greg Kelly.
Yep. And so we'll have him for a segment of the show. And Santa may be calling in from the North Pole, checking in with us. So we're looking forward to that. And we thank you for listening and being a part of our show. And we thank you for doing business with Todd. I know sometimes he actually runs into our listeners while he's at his stores.
I did.
Yes.
Let's tell that story next week because he listens every week. This gentleman,
great.
It's a great story.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. Sometimes we don't know about it, but we know that you get the message and you pass it on to your friends and family. So we appreciate that very much. We appreciate you, and
we sure have. If you can't catch us next week, which we highly want you to do, have a great Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
And, Santa Claus is real, by the way, because we work on his sled.
That's right. All right. Well, you've been listening to the Crown Car Care Hour, and you can give Todd a call at his store in Palm City at 781-8000, or you can reach him at their Cove Road location at 283-4707. And once again, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week right here.